gone. The 45-year drought is over. The Los Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
Didn't realize my mic was muted there. Oh, let me start one more time. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here, our day after live here on Dime Dropper for the 2025-26 NBA season. And I guess for this episode, also the 2025 NFL season and the 2025-26 NFL playoffs. We're going to be talking, of course, this is your home for all things LA sports and the hub of LA Pro basketball. Today, we are going to be talking about the Clippers against the Pistons coming back from 19 points down, and the Rams, my Rams, clinging on by a thread against the Panthers. Both my teams won yesterday, so it was a good day for your boy. Of course, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video. And because we're trying to get to 14,000 subscribers, you can also listen wherever on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and become a member of the channel so every single comment of yours gets read in line. You can skip the line at post-game interviews at games. You get entitled to a giveaway at 25 and 50 members, one for Laker fans, one for Clipper fans. And members only live at least once every 2 weeks. I'm going to try to make it once a week, though, where you can ask me anything or jump on stage. This is alive, my friend. I am speaking right now. We're going to be talking Clippers Pistons first, just because it's a basketball channel. And it's the Clippers' #1 channel. So then we're going to go Rams. So Clippers beat the Brooklyn Nets on Friday night, coming off the loss to the Knicks. And we're playing against Detroit. And before the game, and I was thinking, second night of a back-to-back against the best team in the Eastern Conference by record so far this year. Shout out to one of my members, King Charles 7756. He says, go Clippers. But I heard before the game that Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Tobias Harris, and Beef Stew were going to all miss the game. So that was basically like a scheduled loss. And an opportunity for us with Kawhi Leonard playing on the second night of a back-to-back, shout out to Kawhi, to actually get the job done and get a win that we might have thought that we weren't going to get on this trip. But to come out, we played like absolute dog shit. Like we completely underestimated them. We left Duncan Robinson open for multiple threes. To start the game, we had Harden on Asar Thompson, Chris Dunn on Jaden Ivey, Zoo on Paul Reed, Kawhi Leonard on Duncan Robinson, which I thought was surprising because he would have to chase him around everywhere. And then John Collins on Javonte Green. But I guess who else would it be? Because Chris Dunn's going to be guarding Jaden Ivey because he's the best on-ball guy. But maybe they should have switched that because Duncan Robinson was cooking early on in the game and getting away from Kawhi. And it was 10-3 Pistons early. And to be more specific, 20-5 Pistons early. Duncan Robinson had 13 of the first 20. James Harden came out absolutely bullshitting. Blocked twice, had Duncan Robinson on him on a switch because the Pistons were switching 1 through 4, but B-ball Paul Reed was hedging on the ball screens, and the ball pressure and the hedging was aggressive from Detroit. Like they knew that the Clippers don't like ball pressure, and they were really getting into us with their speed, athleticism, and youth. And it was causing a lot of problems. We had 6 turnovers in the first 5.5 minutes of the game. So, and James had 2 of those. Zoo also had 2 fouls in the first 7 minutes. So at the end of the first quarter, we were down 28-14. We couldn't make an open three. We could not take care of the ball. James Harden was playing like ass. Kobe Sanders missed and turned the ball over. Like literally got ripped by Dennis Jenkins at half court. And I have to say, Dennis Jenkins impressed me. His ball pressure was impressive. And his speed. And I haven't seen too much of him play, So Kobe Sanders, the one thing I have to say is he needs to get his handle up. I think he's a very good player. And he's going to be a good player in the league, a solid role player. But I think he needs to get his handle up. Which he obviously knows, I'm guessing. Just for that next level. But anyway, we're down. We only scored 14 points after the first quarter. So we couldn't have been playing more bad. But the thing was, this is what I said before the game. The Detroit Pistons, to win a game like this, they have to be able to score for 4 quarters without a team that's already not great at scoring the basketball without Cade Cunningham. Like, not great at creating shots without Cade. So in the second quarter, though, Brook Lopez took 2 awful threes, contested. This whole Zoo Lopez thing is ridiculous. Like, that argument. Lopez is not good like that. Like, he's not that good anymore. I love Brook Lopez for what he did in the past because I was a fan of his. He's been good in this recent stretch, these last 10 games that we won 8 out of. He's like not even shooting well. People are talking about spacing the floor, his threat to shoot. What threat to shoot? People are letting him shoot. They would much rather have him shoot than Kawhi Leonard or James Harden doing anything. So, I mean, that argument to me is absolutely ludicrous. And in this game, I mean, he was a rough watch. That 3 he took in the corner was absolutely ridiculous, dude. Who do you think you are? That wouldn't be a good shot for anyone except for Kawhi, maybe on the entire team. And even for Kawhi Leonard, I think that would have been a pretty sus shot. Come on, dude. So he was part of the reason we were playing like ass. We were down 35-16, which is the most that we would go down in the game. I didn't feel like we couldn't get back in the game, though, because I knew that they were so devoid of talent, but I was very much questioning our effort level and our intensity and seriousness level to come out of the game like that. So second quarter, Kawhi starts to get going with his jump shot. Zoo had some decent moments where he had some shots around the basket, some putbacks. But Kobe Sanders, he was really struggling with the ball pressure and couldn't hit shots. And we were still turning it over and not boxing out, not rebounding. I mean, look, there's a lack of athleticism with us, but like, come on. We have a total lack of care for the glass. And also, again, for the second straight game, Kawhi Leonard did not play the full second quarter. So, you know, second out of a back-to-back, I get it. And so at the end of the second quarter, we broke even in the second. So it was 55-41 at halftime. Still had a lot of work to do. But what we had to do is limit our turnovers because we had 14 in the first half. 14 in the first half. Limiting turnovers is very crucial. Well, it says 13 on NBA.com. Limiting turnovers for the Clippers is extremely crucial because we can't get back on defense like other teams because we're old and slow. The Detroit Pistons actually cooled down, though, in the second quarter. In the second quarter, the splits were like almost flipped in terms of shooting. So in the third quarter, we came out and hit them first. 3 threes to begin. We went on a 10-0 run right away. 1 by John Collins, 1 by James Harden, and 1 by Kawhi Leonard. And James Harden, mind you, in the first half was 1 for 10 and 0 for 4 from 3 and had 4 turnovers. So it was absolutely atrocious. And he was so slow getting back in transition. Absolutely atrocious in the first half. And Kawhi Leonard only took 4 shots and sat out 9 minutes of the first 24. So almost more than a third. So it was a little bit sus. And you had Brook Lopez 0 for 4. Come on now. But the third quarter, as I said, we ratcheted up the intensity on defense, but we also just started making shots, which allowed our defense to set. And again, this team is not going to have big threats that can create without Cade Cunningham. So we were able to get back in it. John Collins, I thought he was playing really well again, making threes, blocking shots, not giving up on plays, dunking the basketball when he was around it, when he was around the basket. I mean, he's playing at his best level that he can play. And it's awesome to see that right now because it was a rough start to his Clipper tenure this season, John Collins. And it's part of the reason why we were playing like ass. He has now been one of the biggest reasons we're playing great. So I've been saying he's the X factor for this team. As far as Kawhi and James, they started to look more like stars in that third quarter that they are. I thought Harden took some really lazy shots, though, where I guess he just didn't expect him to get blocked by these young guys on the Detroit Pistons. But he was just going up kind of like James. He just has this thing about him where when he's playing badly, he looks like he's just so casual. Like his body language is so relaxed. And it's just very aggravating, in my opinion. But you can tell when he's locked in. And here's the thing, though. He had some lazy moments, but he was still trying to get downhill. So I like that. But it's just the way he was going up was not like the James Harden that's like locked in. Like we saw in Brooklyn, basically. Like we saw in Brooklyn. And it has nothing to do with, a little bit to do with who's guarding him, but not really. The Pistons have some good defenders, and they're a solid defensive team. But James Harden is James Harden. He's still getting by a lot of guys in games. So in the third quarter, we outscored the Pistons 27-21. So we're going into the fourth quarter down by 8, which is doable, but we really needed our stars to be stars, rebound the basketball, and take care of the basketball. As long as we're getting a shot up every time, that's what I thought was key. And at one point, we had it down to 4 points in the third quarter. But the Pistons punched back to start the fourth after a Kawhi Leonard jump pass turnover when he got blitzed and Jordan Miller missing 2 free throws and turned the ball over on the baseline. The Pistons went up by 14. So again, turning over the basketball, exactly what I said going into the fourth quarter, we just could not do, and immediately we do it. Now we're down by 14. And this is when I thought the game was pretty much over. When we called that timeout, we're down by 14. There's like 9 minutes to go. And then we made a run in the fourth that was the best comeback of our season. Proper comeback clips. I don't know what it is about Detroit, but we have had some awesome comebacks they showed in the broadcast against them. Obviously, there was the the Lou Williams takeover in 2019. I was in college during that game, and I remember watching it, and I was just like, this looks like a star right now. Like the way he was taking over games consistently after Tobias got traded, I was like, this motherfucker is a star, Lou Williams. He was an all-star caliber player in the second half of the season, and I will die on this hill with that. Not super chat. A member comment from King Charles says, Kobe Sanders went from dribbling against guys in the Mountain West Conference to normal NBA defense. Absolutely. It's going to take an adjustment for him. But we responded from that run. Oh, and I was going to say the classic, the one where Reggie Jackson had a game winner, and then there was, I think, Luke Kennard in some big shots. We've had some big comebacks in Detroit. This was obviously our biggest comeback of the season. The biggest comeback we had to this point was the Portland Trailblazers twice. We were down by 12. We had not come back to beat a team this season, trailing by more than 12 until this game. But we responded from that timeout with a 12-0 run. First, we had a great after timeout play that was a Jordan Miller lob to Kawhi Leonard for a layup. And then Kawhi got a steal, which led to a John Collins dunk. So shout out to Kawhi there for being active defensively and with his hands, which he always usually is. And then Zoo had a really nice deflection in drop coverage on a lob attempt, which got us on the fast break and led to Kawhi Leonard making a 3. Then Zubats had a nice hedge that led to a shot clock violation. So Zoo, he was kind of mixing up the coverage. There was some moments of drop, some moments of hedging, really hedging on Duncan Robinson especially. Lopez was basically hedging on everything, but at times there was a stretch where he looked confused and he was mixing up the coverage, and all of them didn't look great. Here's my thing. We didn't play that great of defense in this game. There were a lot of open shots they had. There was a lot of bad moments in transition, but we're playing against a team that was missing a lot of guys. But we were not great defensively, in my opinion. I think we had good stretches of defense, though. Stretches. But that's not going to be enough to beat like decent teams. We were not good enough in this game, period. But all that matters is getting the win. That is all that matters, is finding a way to get it done. And that's going to be the theme for the next game I'm going to talk about with the Rams as well. But you know, the shot clock violation, and then Kawhi hits 2 free throws. Jordan Miller gets an interception where we, again, hedged on the ball screen. He read the next pass, and we missed the shot. Miller then got a 3, though, on a John Collins offensive rebound. So an immediate 12-0 run just like that to cut it down to 2. Now we've got plenty of time with the James Harden coming back into the ball game, and we can take over this game. So it was 82-84 with 7:21 left. So there's a lot of time left. And but then James Harden came in for Kawhi. So again, Kawhi Leonard came out of the game. So this was not his normal minutes rotation. And I know he was questionable for the game with like an ankle tweak, but I don't know about an ankle tweak. I think it's they're just trying to preserve him and not play him too hard on back-to-backs. But Kawhi Leonard, I mean, in terms of his minute pattern, so we had him out of the game, right? So it was James Harden, Jordan Miller, John Collins, those guys, Chris Dunn. And John Collins, man, he continued to make big shots. Making threes really throughout the game. There was a crucial moment, though, where, so as I said, Kawhi Leonard came out, right? At the timeout when we cut it down to 2, the 12-0 run, 82-84. So right when we were starting to make a run with Kawhi and he had scored 5 points in a row, actually 7 points in a row. Actually, no, not in a row because Collins had a dunk in between, but 7 points out of the last, 9. Oh, my math is wrong because Jordan Miller made that 3. But anyway, he scored 7 points on this 12-0 run, right? He comes out of the game at the 7:21 mark. And then he comes back in. Where the hell did he come back in at? Oh, at 3:09. 3:09. So he sat out 4 minutes of the fourth. And then Paul Reed gets a technical foul, though. During that stretch, Paul Reed got a technical foul. That was very crucial. Very crucial because it got us down to 3 points. You just can't be giving away free points at that stage. And then James Harden got an and one that gave us the lead. It was a huge and one. And I'm sorry, to tie the game, not give us the lead at 90. And then we took the lead on a John Collins free throw off of a steal that he had to make it 93-92. And then James made a huge play, got the ball down to Ivica Zubac for a dunk to put us up by 3. And then James Harden got a big steal on Dennis Jenkins. And then Kawhi Leonard took it away from Paul Reed. So we did a good job of just closing it out. And James Harden did a good job making plays. James Harden also was able to hit 1 free throw to at least make it a 2-possession game. And then Zubac made both free throws. So really solid win, just given that we outscored them 30-16 in the fourth. We really clamped down in the fourth. Hedging on the ball screens actually worked. But it works against teams that you're willing to concede open threes to overall. And in this game, the Detroit Pistons shot 23% from 3, and 5 of their 8 made threes came from Duncan Robinson. So 40, 23, 72 splits for them. That's not great. And then for us, we shot 43% from the field, 35 from 3. And for being the best free throw shooting team in basketball, we shot 69% from the foul line. So that was awful, 25 for 36. We shot 11 more free throws than them, which is great, but we aren't going to have too many nights shooting the ball so poorly from the line like that. But 35% from 3, that's not great, and 43% from the field isn't good. So the fact that we were able to get the job done, that's huge. A 30-16 fourth quarter is awesome, and a 57-37 second half. You will take that all day long. Clippers win it 98-92. We're now 15-23 and finished this 3-game road trip 2-1. We're coming back home to play the Charlotte Hornets on Monday or tomorrow, and I will not be there. I have the 2 biggest games that I'm going to coach in the regular season in my middle school coaching career tomorrow, and I am not trying to go to a game after, to be honest. Anyway, let's read the lines for the Pistons. They played a 10-man rotation. Marcus Sasser played 7 minutes and was 0 for 4. All his shots were threes. Did have 3 assists and 1 steal. We'll take the 0 for 4, though, all day long. Dennis Jenkins, I was impressed, to be honest with you, with his defense. 10 points. I can see why he's getting minutes. 3 for 8 from the field, 1 for 3 from downtown, 3 for 4 from the free throw line. He had 10 points to go along with 4 boards, 2 assists, and 2 steals, but he did turn the ball over 5 times. And the Detroit Pistons, listen to this stat, because this is not something that we do normally. We had 22 turnovers, and they had 25. We forced 25 turnovers, and we had 32 points off of those turnovers. That's awesome, because we don't usually create that many turnovers. Let's see. Paul Reed started, but he played only 22 minutes. He had 8 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 steals, and 2 blocks. He was very active defensively, but he turned the ball over 5 times, which I didn't even notice. So he and Dennis Jenkins had 10 turnovers between the 2 of them. He shot 3 for 6 from the field and 0 for 1 from 3, 2 for 6 from the free throw line for B-Ball Paul. Jaden Ivey also only played 20 minutes, and I was not impressed with him one bit. He couldn't shoot. He didn't look that special in any department. 8 points, 3 boards, 1 turnover. Nothing of anything else. No assists, no blocks, no steals. He was 4 for 12 and 0 for 5 from 3. So we will take that all day long as well. Karis LeVert came off the bench. I'm a fan of his. 8 points, 1 board, 4 dimes, 2 steals, and a block, and 2 turnovers on 4 for 9 shooting, but he was also 0 for 3 from 3. I thought he was pretty good, though, at least giving them something off the bench. But he's never been, I don't know. I've never thought of him as a great 3-point shooter, but he has had some seasons where he shot really well from 3. 39% from 3 with the Cavs in 2023. But yeah, if you look at his career, he didn't usually shoot over 36% from deep. Last year with the Cavs, he shot 40.5% from 3 and then 34 with the Hawks. This year he's shooting 37, so that's pretty good overall. So you'll take the fact that he was 0 for 3 from downtown. And then Ronald Holland, he was very active and he's super athletic, but also his jump shot. I don't know about his jump shot. This season, he's shooting 24% from 3. So there you go. He had 16 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, a steal, and a block on 6 for 15 shooting, 1 for 7 from 3, and made all 3 of his free throws. We will absolutely take 1 for 7 from 3. And then Tolu Smith, who I've never heard of. I guess he's a rookie. He wasn't drafted? I guess he was undrafted. So Tolu Smith went to Mississippi State. He played 26 minutes in this game, had 9 points and 14. Oh, that's who it was. Yeah, the Smith character. I had no idea who that was. 9 points, 14 rebounds. 14 rebounds. Tolu Smith III. Undrafted. 2024. He played for the Motor City Cruise last year. They call them the Motor City Cruise? Okay. They used to be what? They were the Bakersfield Jam? Northern Arizona Suns? Wow, what the hell? These G League teams just bouncing around now. Anyway, he had 9 points and 14 rebounds. I thought he was very active. 9 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 4 blocks. And he was moving like he could switch 1 through 5 kind of. Because I don't think he's that tall. How tall is he? 6'11". Okay, he is pretty tall. But he was pretty mobile. 7 for 8 from the free throw line, but he was 1 for 7 from the field. Finished with 9 points. And then Duncan Robinson. He was really good, I can't lie. Really good. Shout out to the legend, Troy Hornbeck, my man. Give him a follow on all platforms. Says Kawhi rolled his ankle against the Knicks around 5 minutes left in the third quarter. There you go. So I don't know why I didn't see that. The Knicks game. Yeah. Oh, it's because, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I forgot what I was doing before that, but that was the least I paid attention to a game in a while. But thank you for that. So yeah, so a little ankle tweak. I think he'll be fine against Charlotte. Getting a couple days rest will be nice for him. So Duncan Robinson, 20 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers on 7 for 10 shooting and 5 for 7 from downtown. He was good. 1 for 2 from the free throw line in 28 minutes. And then Javonte Green, 7 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers on 2 for 6 shooting, 1 for 5 from downtown, and 2 for 2 from the free throw line in 33 minutes. You can see all these guys just shot horribly. And then Asar Thompson played the most minutes of any Piston, had 6 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. So all of them super active in the steals and block department. 1 turnover on 3 for 6 shooting. He didn't shoot 1 free throw, though. And neither did Jaden Ivey. So I don't know. Their leading scorer was Duncan Robinson. If that's the case, you're probably gonna win. We played 9 guys, and 3 of them off the bench had a donut. 3 of them. Kobe Sanders had a donut, 3 rebounds and 3 turnovers. He did not have a very good game. Second one in a row where I don't think he was great, but I think he can hopefully bounce back against Charlotte. The ball pressure just kind of got to him, I think. 0 for 1 from the field, and his only shot was a 3. Brook Lopez, there was a moment where we went small in this game, like small ball lineup with no 5. Because this fool Brook Lopez was playing like ass. I think he only played in the first half. Let me double check. Brook Lopez did not. Oh, he did. He played 5 minutes and 35 seconds in the second half. So He had 0 points and was 0 for 4 from the field, and all his shots were threes, and he had 3 rebounds. And then Nico, a donut, didn't even shoot, had 1 rebound, 1 steal, and no turnovers. But like, I don't know, he wasn't very good. He didn't really do anything. 3 guys with 0 points. And then Jordan Miller, shout out to Jordan Miller. 9 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 turnovers on 3 for 8 shooting, 1 for 3 from downtown, and 2 for 4 from the free throw line. We need points however we can get them. And Jordan Miller is a pretty solid scorer. It's just a matter of how good of a scorer is he at the NBA level. And we're continuing to find that out. He's averaging 15 points his last 2 games. So let's keep up the momentum going into Charlotte, the Charlotte game. As far as our starters, they all played 31 minutes or more. Kawhi Leonard playing the least of the starters with 31 minutes. He had 26 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 steals, 3 turnovers. That's one he needs to definitely take better care of the ball, but he has been lately. On 8 for 13 shooting, 4 for 7 from 3. A very, very rare 6 for 9 from the free throw line. I don't know what happened. He's been lights out from the free throw line all season, but he's starting to finally miss some after that long streak he had. He had a good game, but I don't think he was good enough in the first half. And 13 shots, I don't like that. He needs to be shooting 20, but partially I think it's the minutes. You know, he didn't play that much compared to other games. But anyway, also the ball pressure of the Pistons. You got to give him some credit there. In the second half, though, Kawhi had 14 points. James Harden also had 14 points in the second half. John Collins had 15 points in the second half. But I want to talk about Ivica Zubac next. I think this was a solid game for him, especially defensively in the fourth quarter. I think he could have done a better job on the glass. The last 2 games, it's been very lacking. Honestly, the last 3 games. He had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks. So fairly active. I just think the rebounding department needs to be better, and passing out of doubles needs to be better. He had 4 turnovers in this game, but he did shoot well. 6 for 9 from the field. It felt like he was finishing very well around the basket. 5 for 8 from the free throw line, though. So you don't like seeing that. Chris Dunn. It was an okay game for him. He struggled a bit to bring up the ball, even against the likes of Duncan Robinson, which is crazy. He had 2 points, 1 board, 6 assists, which you'll take, which is the second most on our team. 4 steals. He was great in the second half defensively, and then 2 turnovers on 1 for 3 shooting and 0 for 1 from downtown. And then James Harden, 19 points, 7 boards, 7 assists, 3 steals. I thought he was active with his hands, but he wasn't good defensively. 5 turnovers on 4 for 20 shooting, 1 for 7 from 3, 10 for 11 from the free throw line. Here's what I'll say. I don't think it was an awful game for James because he closed well, and that matters. But he wasn't great. But we'll take it as long as we win. And then my player of the game with a 37-minute output, which is the same as James Harden, John Collins. 25 big ones, 7 boards, 1 assist, 4 steals, and 4 blocks. 2 turnovers on 9 for 14 shooting, 5 for 8 from downtown, and 2 for 4 from the free throw line. John Collins was the man. I think he was our best player in this game. He's knocking down shots at an extremely high clip lately from downtown. And it's really changed this team. The last 10 games or so, he's shooting, let's say the last 9 games on ESPN, but the last 9 games, he's shooting 68% from 3 and 70% from the field. Obviously, that's not going to last, but his 3-point percentage and his 3-point shot making has changed drastically, and that changes this entire team. And he was rebounding, he was active, and he was getting steals, blocks. So on to the next one. We're 15-23 now, and I think we're going to win this next game, make it 16-23. Then we move from there. Now I want to talk about the big one yesterday. The LA Rams, my LA Rams playoff game in the wild card against the Carolina Panthers. And this game, I'll tell you, Dime Dropper fam, scared the absolute shit out of me. And it was probably the most nervous I had been since the Super Bowl win. Because against Detroit, Minnesota, and Philadelphia, I felt like we were the underdog. This game, we were for sure the favorites. For sure. And it felt like everything that could have went wrong for us, but we still somehow found a way to win. Matthew Stafford, I believe, started 8 for 8 throwing the football, and then he got a finger injury, and I don't know how much it was affecting him. I haven't heard his like post-game talk after the game, but he was having some very uncharacteristic throws, underthrowing guys by a lot, turning the ball over. I'm trying to look for that right now, King Charles, a backdrop of the Rams. But it was very uncharacteristic stuff from Matthew Stafford. Some people were saying this is what he does in the playoffs and all that. Matthew Stafford is a Super Bowl champion. I would say put some respect on his name, and we're going to talk about that in a sec. But it was scaring the living shit out of me. I can't lie. It was getting very reckless. And then Puka Nacua, I want to pull up the tape. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams were having like uncharacteristic drops on routine catches. Routine catches. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm going to try to get a backdrop for the Rams because this shit's pissing me off. And then I just cooked, man. Actually, you know what? I might have just cooked this being like a nice clip because I stopped it like that, but whatever. Okay, let's pull up them highlights of the Rams against the Panthers because there was some crazy shit. I was really happy we won this game, dude. NFL playoffs, I still just don't take it for granted one bit being a part of it because of all the years that I didn't even have a team. So it's really special. The Rams have made the playoffs 7 out of 10 years. 7 out of 10 years since being in LA. All right, SoFi Stadium. Let's get a little SoFi guy. My boy. You said you wanted SoFi. Let's get some SoFi. SoFi. Tell me what you're thinking, Clipper Nation or Rams Nation. What are we thinking, Rams? Ramily? What you guys got for me? You guys got anything for me? Any questions? Any comments? Chargers, Clippers, Padres. Let's go. Collins is hooping, man. Yeah, he absolutely is. He absolutely is, my friends. Okay. Is that a good enough picture? I need that picture, man. Okay. Give me a fucking big. Oh, here we go. SoFi JPEG. All right, let's see if it works. SoFi JPEG. All right. Visual effects. Okay. Let's try this. I think that's going to work. All right. SoFi. We're at SoFi now. Before I pull up the tape, though, all I want to say is, man, Matt Stafford, because Bryce Young, he came to play. I was talking about it with a friend I was watching the game with, and he was like, he's not even a top 20 starting quarterback in the NFL. And I was like, maybe he's not. But he was balling out. He was the man for the big occasion in this game. And Matt Stafford was off his game. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams were having routine drops. It was very sus. And then we had that blocked punt. That was disastrous. And our special teams has been a problem all year long. We think about that Eagles game at the end in the beginning of the season. That shit pissed me off. I don't know what's going on, but we're consistently letting guys get through and get hands on the ball on punts and on field goals. That shit is sus. And then our secondary was just getting torched. And that's the weak part of our defense. We definitely need to draft some corners because these guys are getting torched. Our linebackers, I really like them against the run game, but I'm not a huge fan of them against the pass game. Landman's obviously had a really good year. The Landman, as I call him, Landman. He's had a really good year. Byron Young has been amazing. And Jared Verse is a monster. Our D-line, our pass rush is really good. Guys like Kobe Turner and those guys, but the linebackers still against passes, I'm a little bit suspect on them. I don't know if we're a Super Bowl winning team. We're not perfect. I just think the only team I've seen win the Super Bowl is that obviously our 2021 team, and our defense was a lot better. Now, our run game in that team was the weird part because we had Darrell Henderson in the beginning of the season, then Sony Michel, then Cam Akers came back in the playoffs. So that was weird. That was the weakness of our team. We had Cooper Kupp, we had Odell, we had good receivers, we had great QB play out of Matt Stafford, we had an awesome O-line, and then we had a really good defense with Von Miller and obviously AD and, but, no football team is going to be flawless. No team in every sport is going to be completely flawless. It's just a matter of having less flaws than others and playing well in a singular game. So, or a series of singular games against the team. But man, ugly wins are important, as I said at the top of the show. And this was an ugly win, but we just got to get the job done. You don't get style points. You don't get an advantage for winning by more or performing better. You just got to win. And that is what we did. Matthew Stafford, late in the game-winning drive, built for the big moment, big throws up the field, solid catches by Devontae Adams, Puka, and then the man who's had a breakout season. He had that huge game against the Lions on Fox, Colby Parkinson. We've had that 3 tight end setup this season. We had Tyler Higbee and Davis Allen and Colby Parkinson. And Colby Parkinson has been an absolute monster. That catch will be remembered for a long time, because it's a playoff win. It's going to be remembered for a long time. So back to the divisional game we go, and we're going to see who we play. Oh, it's the Bears, no? Is it the Bears? Oh, no, we don't know yet. NFL bracket. Let me see the NFL brackets. I don't think I'll be able to pull up the highlights, unfortunately. I'm going to have to leave. So the Jags are down to the Bills 7-10 right now at halftime. So I guess we don't know yet who we're playing. It depends. So we'll see. It'll either be the Seahawks or the Bears. Those are going to be tough games regardless. But, I'm just happy we won, right? We got to the wild card game again. It's been consistent success in this Sean McVay era. We only didn't make the playoffs the year after we won after we made it to the Super Bowl, and the year after we won the Super Bowl. So that's weird, but man, the Mob Squad, they have been big time. The Ramley. Let's talk about. So let me just say this before I close out. 2024 Rams. 2024 Rams, you lost in the divisional game to the Eagles, obviously. And the season before, we lost in the wild card. So second straight year we got out of the wild card. Let's see what we can do going forward. But peace out, everybody. Go Rams, go Clippers. When will I be live next? Definitely, I would think Monday night, but who knows? If I lose games on Monday, I might not want to go live. But we'll see. Very likely I'm going live Monday night. Peace out, everybody. Go Clippers, go Rams. You know how to ram it. Ram it.